Great. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining today. My name is Meredith Curry. I go by Mare, pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Executive Director of the Northern California College Promise Coalition. I'm excited to be here with you all to spend the next hour talking about how students and their families and supporters can support getting students to be more college, career, and financial ready. And so let me start first with a little bit more of an introduction. First, I'm a really proud graduate of Eastside Union High School District. I graduated from Piedmont Hills in class of 2000. I'm also from UCLA, class of 2004, and received my MBA from Cal State Long Beach. And I've also attended several community college programs, both for continuing education and to support my degrees here locally, like at De Anza and Evergreen, as well as in Los Angeles. So if there are questions about the different types of college experiences, I can support that as well. But for the next 20 to 30 minutes, I do have a structured presentation for you just to cover kind of all the bases in terms of resources. And then there will be time for Q&A, and I'd love to be able to support any questions that you have. And if I don't have those questions or insights to support, I will make note of them and see how I can support a follow-up to get you what you need. But I do run a coalition here in Northern California of about 30 different programs who are all focused on supporting students to get to and through college. And I also run a tool called Decided through a nonprofit called MoneyThink that helps evaluate financial aid award letters. And I'll talk about more about that in a moment. I am a San Jose local here in Santa Clara County. I'm in East San Jose, and I also represent Santa Clara County's Commission on the Status of Women. I'm the chair for anybody who's interested in knowing more about local community opportunities. Let me go to the next. So what we're going to cover today, excuse me, are resources that you have already just by nature of being part of the Eastside Union High School District family. What it means to be college ready, which for students really means to define what fit is for them to be able to find a true college match. There are some things that students are introduced to, such as match, reach, safety, which have elements around like, what's your GPA? Where did you test? But there are other elements of fit that are truly personal to a student. And so there are tools and resources to help them dig through that. Being career ready. So how to support students on planning where they want to go based on what they want to do, not just, the college as they know about it because they like their sports team or their friends are going there, but not all colleges actually offer every program. So when a student does figure out what he, she, they wants to study or wants to do for a career, that may have a specific major, and those majors may only be available at specific campuses. So we try to help students be college and career and financially ready at the same time. It's not really a sequence, but really 3 parallel paths. And then third is be financially ready. Knowing what the costs are, whatever the pathway the student chooses, whether it's a 2-year graduating with a associate's degree and a certificate, or if it's a 4-year to complete a bachelor's, maybe they plan to go into continuing education with graduate school, whatever their intention, knowing what the costs are and then knowing how to pay for them are incredibly important. And oftentimes our students and families don't actually have both pieces of the puzzle to make an informed decision, costs and aid. So I'll talk more about the tools you'll have there. Excuse me. And for those just joining us, I plan to be for our time today kind of a resource hub where I will share broadly different resources that are available for you for free, available right now, but also to tackle different questions you have around these different pieces of the puzzle for your high school seniors, but also students, whether they're planning to transfer or are earlier in their high school or middle school career. So first, let's talk about resources you have already. At Eastside Union High School District, you do have college resources available right at this link. So Cash for College workshops have begun. I've been a Cash for College trainer for over 10 years here in the Bay and in LA, so I highly recommend taking advantage of these free resources. They're scheduled now all the way through March to help students get to the March 2 priority deadline for financial aid applications like the FAFSA, the California DREAM Act, and other aid that they will want to investigate, like for foster youth Chafee grant, et cetera. There are also events called UC-CSU Transfer Days and College Nights, where students and educators can learn more and visit with the different campuses. AICCU, if that term is unfamiliar, stands for the Association of Independent California Colleges and Universities. This is an association of over 80 colleges that includes colleges you may know of like Santa Clara University, Stanford University, and University of Southern California. So they have their own undergraduate resources because applying to and being supported by those campuses is a little bit different than the UC and CSU, so you can check that out there. And last, there is a college success hub, and that has a ton of resources available for you to check out that I'd encourage. Resources that you will not see there that I do want to share with you all today, and I'll put links in the chat. And then I believe there's a way for me to send this to you as a follow-up too, if you want a copy of this deck. But so let's go next to being college ready. So 7 steps to success is something that we've put together for our coalition for students that definitely makes sense for students in the senior year of high school, but also makes sense earlier, and they can tap into this even when they're in college or planning to transfer. So for students, it's about really supporting them in creating SMART goals, documenting their intentions, their dreams, their aspirations. And one of those tools is californiacolleges.edu. Many of your students may already be using it. It's the state's free platform for college and career planning. Students should access resources online to just get familiar with the college process, college knowledge, the financial aid process, learn more about careers, things like that. So we have a YouTube channel where we've been hosting scholarship panels of different scholarships across the county and outside of the county, community college panels, so students can learn more about the different colleges in their area. So those are available on our YouTube channel. Getting your basic needs met and understanding what basic needs are. We have seen the highest rates of students facing homelessness, housing insecurity, and food insecurity during college. And despite what some may think, they didn't experience that before. So it's something they experienced coming into college for the first time. So we do want to make sure our students know that their basic needs, food, housing, utilities, things like that should be cared for, and there are resources for that. Students should explore their careers and network with others, and there are a lot of videos available to understand what it means to be an astronaut versus a teacher. You can access your benefits, your government benefits, learn more about things like CalFresh through a free platform called Assist Hub. And then you can explore this idea of college affordability in addition to fit. It is affordable for me and my family using a cool tool called Decided. So Let's Go to College Bay Area is a student-led virtual hub that will release in a few weeks. And in a month. And I just wanted you all to just have a heads up. I'll share it with Eastside Union High School District once it's ready. But it is going to be a resource specifically for Northern California and Bay Area students, and it is student-led. So students are doing the research, vetting the information, and sharing it with each other. There's already a statewide platform called Let's Go to College California that I would encourage you to check out, or encourage your students to check out. And the Bay Area version will be available shortly. But one of the things to just acknowledge is that there's a lot of information out there, and our students and families have a lot of questions. There are no really true one-stop shops. There are some that provide a lot of good information in one place but don't cover it all. So that's why I'm kind of going through this tour of different resources. But at the end, I'm happy to answer any questions about these other resources or just general questions that you might have about the college journey for your students. And please feel free, I have the chat open. If at any time you do have a question and if it makes more sense for me to stop, I'll respond. Otherwise, I'll save your questions to the end. All right, so what does it mean for a student to be college ready? I've been working in college access and success and workforce development for 2 decades. And, being college ready is really different for every student. And so helping a student understand their options, that the choice is theirs between those options, and that despite what others may tell them, those options are still for them to consider, is really, really important. And so there are tools out there like California colleges that are designed specifically to help California students navigate all of the different options out there. And I'm happy to do just the quickest of demos for those who haven't seen californiacolleges.edu yet. But when you arrive here, it's free. It has accounts for different types of students, but also for parents and educators. If you're a parent, your student can connect their account to you so that as they're doing their thing, you can support them, observe, and encourage what they're, saving, have thoughtful conversations about what they're looking at. When students go to the college section, there's a college search tool. I'll talk more about that in a bit. There's a major search tool. There's information on how to build their list. There's information about the common application and the common Black college application for specific student and scenarios, resources, etc. Under career, there are free career assessments. So if a student doesn't know where to start, they could take a free assessment. They could use the career search tool, and that will pull information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics to share with students different careers that are available. I'll talk about more about that in a bit. And then there's the financial aid section, which has everything you know about the different types of financial aid here in California. The California Dream Act, for example, the California College Promise Grant, the Cal Grant, as well as resources and vocabulary for students of various situations. So I would encourage using that to explore, get familiar with everything that a student might need to know about getting into college. And then when a student is signed in, they will have what's called My Plan, where anything they do, favoriting a college, favoriting a major, favoriting a career, is all saved here, but they can also do things like goal setting. So they can write a goal that is set to an existing prompt, or they can create their own goal. So for example, you can have a discussion around a goal they have around their college applications. And if they wanted to respond to that, they could start a SMART goal where they have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely about the goal they're setting. So that's one example of how that can be used. And then they can use the major search tool to really make sure that what they're, if they have a sense of what they want to do, that they, in terms of careers, jobs, future roles, that they know what majors might support them in accessing those careers. And obviously you don't have to necessarily have a specific major for every type of career, but some are designed for those careers. So if I was, for example, a nursing student, or let's go with business for something a little bit more general, I find business administration, there's different types of majors related to that. But actually, maybe I'll just go ahead and add business administration because that's the one I'm interested in. And because I want to find a college that offers the major I'm interested in, I can go to view colleges. And from there, I'm taken to the college search tool, pre-populated with the right filters, and I can start looking through these list of colleges. So that's one way I can start to be college ready, is to really get a sense of what do I want to study, what do I want to do, and then where would I go to achieve that. Accessing resources online like our YouTube channel. So I won't click into that, but basically we do have a YouTube channel. The 2 videos specifically I would encourage, there's one called Tips and Tricks to Enroll and Thrive at the California Community Colleges that has 4 of our local, I think all Santa Clara County based colleges. And then Authentic Leadership at School and at Work. And for those who aren't familiar with the American Association of University Women, that's not in my slide, but in case there's adults here or folks looking for to transition roles or looking for work, the American Association of University Women They lead salary negotiation trainings and have an online program, and they co-facilitated this workshop called Authentic Leadership at School and at Work. Third, for being college ready is getting your basic needs met. And oftentimes students don't realize that those basic needs expenses are what they need to consider covering and budgeting for as part of their like life expenses. So if we go to our website, californiacolleges.edu, if you visit this at any time, you'll see right on the homepage, there's a link to our COVID-19 resource guide. A lot of this information will be brought into that Let's Go to College Bay Area platform I mentioned, but you'll see that there's different resources for everything from employment to housing, which includes rent and storage, to utilities, which includes Wi-Fi and internet, and to local program, city and college resource guides. So those are 3 actionable steps for you students to become more college ready. I'm going to go ahead and pause here and just see if there are any questions that folks have about anything that I've shared with so far. Okay, and again, all of these resources are free and they're available to students right now. So closing out on being college ready, whether a student's already a high school senior and has built their college list and has started their applications, or they're starting from scratch, they can begin by reflecting and starting off with some SMART goals around their academic, college, career, and financial aid goals. They can explore colleges by starting off with the major search tool in terms of getting an understanding of the different programs that different colleges offer, those different programs. Number 2, they can access resources online like NCCPC's YouTube channel and the 2 specific videos I shared. One is for tips and tricks on community college, and one is on authentic leadership at school and at work. And then last is helping students get their basic needs met by encouraging them to explore our COVID-19 resource guide and the Let's Go to College California platform, which looks like this. And it is for students by students. So this is something I would really encourage you to send your students directly to. So that's being college ready. Next is, oh, and here's a screenshot of that major search tool as I just shared. So next is being career ready. And as I shared earlier, we want to encourage students to explore careers and colleges and financial aid and literacy all at the same time. So this isn't necessarily in sequence, but we want to make sure students are planning as much as possible based on what their interests are, and not just because of a campus's being popular for any other reasons. So to be career ready, a couple things to consider. Students can explore careers and network with folks based on those career interests or as they're learning more about themselves. And in terms of exploring careers, the 2 I recommend the most are Gladio and Road Trip Nation. So if I just open up Gladio, you'll see that they can take a quiz. You'll see that they can browse careers. Right down here already, you have a couple of different specific industries and roles marketed. So this is one way that students could get a little bit more clarity on the careers that they have questions about, or learn more about careers they never even knew about. And I've been facilitating workshops for students for almost 8 years, whether it's financial aid or career assessments or academic planning. And often they don't know what they don't know, right? In terms of careers, they don't know that there's a study of mycology. They don't know that what a fish hatchery is. They don't know that all of these elements of a business have all of these, nuanced positions and roles. So we want to encourage them to explore those by actually learning about them from those who are in those careers. And the best way to access it is videos when you don't have a network. If you have a network, use your network for sure. Informational interviews are great. The second career exploration video platform is Road Trip Nation. And what I appreciate about Road Trip Nation is they literally take road trips across the nation with first-gen students. and they explore really diverse individuals all across their trajectory from college to career. So this is a really cool platform too. And if your school or programs may already be using it with students. So that's number 4, right? Students can explore careers and get more familiar with them, even if they pick a major not aligned. There are a lot of opportunities for students to still, participate in careers that aren't matched to that specific major. So then the 5th piece would be make a plan and follow it with californiacolleges.edu. So I'll bring that up again. And the 5, that I'm going to demonstrate for you quickly are to explore with the college search tool so they can save the colleges they want to apply to in their college plan, especially if it is the California Community Colleges or Cal State Apply. Students can literally launch the application from California colleges, and then what happens to it will be tracked there. So that's one of the benefits of using this. Students have a ton of portals. californiacolleges.edu helps students track multiple pieces of their college information portfolio in one place, especially for California students. So we'll look at college search tool, career search tool, how they can document their experiences and save their documents, and then the academic planner. So let me go ahead and sign in one more time. While I'm signing in, I'm just going to check the Q&A chat, see if there's any questions. I don't see any yet. At any time, if you do have a question, folks, please feel free to put it in the chat. And I'll go ahead and put this link right into the chat for you. So in this case, I'm signed in already. I am signed in as a student who's in the 12th grade. And I have already completed certain activities. If I go to my plan, you'll see that I've started to track what some of my courses are. There are quite a few school districts here in California where the school district has the students' transcript data populating this actually. So you may see, so some students may have their data here already, but they can also plan future years. My college plan is where any colleges that they like will be saved. My career plan is where any careers that they like will be saved, and also any assessments that they've taken the last time they've taken it. You have my goals, which they can use for goal setting, journaling, and then my experience is a really neat tool because it takes a long time to fill out that section of the application sometimes. But what's nice here is you basically have a way to add all of the different experiences. It sums up the hours, and then you would have this print ready. Last, my documents is a place where students could actually upload the different, artifacts as they're collecting them. So if they're building their brag sheet, or if they're getting want to save their scholarship essay, they got a letter of recommendation, they can upload that here. And then they'd have one place. And again, as a parent, you can ask them to connect to you. They do that by going to my account, and then Family Connections would have the ability to add that. But from, my documents, you'd be able to, access all of the information and see what they have. So going to college search tool, we go to college, we can go to college search tool, and you'll see that there's a national search and a California only search. So let's say, for example, you already know your student wants to go to San Jose State. You can just type San Jose, hit search, and it'll bring up all the universities that apply. You can then click into that college, and there may be other search tools that you're using that have also similar, where you see a profile and things like that. So the student will get information about the diversity of the campus, organizations, admissions information. For example, what's the deadline? Is there a fee? Acceptance rate, costs and financial aid, such as percentage of students getting a Pell Grant and the average financial aid award. You also see the breakdown of costs. Really great as you have easy access to the financial aid information. You have degrees and majors here, so you can see at a glance what are all the majors that they have for the different degree types. If this was a community college, we'd see other columns, and I can show that if it's helpful later. And then varsity sports, transfer, and support services. So especially if you have a student with any special needs, they'd be able to find kind of what are some of those resources available on the campus here. And if I'm in it to win it, I'm down, San Jose State, you got me, I'm interested, I can hit add to my college list. I can always click on it to remove it from my college list. I'll add it back. And in real time, that shows up in my college plan. And if you, and there it is. And if you see, this is my college list. The same list is available in each of these tabs, so I can see my college visits. And if I want to track, I did check out UC Irvine, I did check out College of Marin. I can do that here by editing and adding, so students can kind of track what they're doing. And then what's relevant right now is with college applications. I mentioned earlier, this is integrated. It has a relationship with the community college application and the Cal State application. So you'll see already that right next to any of the colleges that use those applications, there's already a link. I can click on the link, for example, for Cal State East Bay. It'll let your student know that they're being taken out of the platform. It'll launch Cal State Apply, and then the student will go through the process of applying. If they've already applied and started an application, they can just sign in. But what then happens, what that enables by doing it here is that then the application status, submission date, and other information is automatically tracked for the student and the family. Major list. So you see I'm into dance. I've looked at a couple of majors. I've added them. I can add notes for myself too. Or if I decide, you know, I'm not interested in ballet, I'm more of a hip hop kind of gal, I'm going to go with removing it from my list. And now it's no longer on my list. And then lastly, test scores. So that was this piece on exploring colleges and starting to build your college list. So now let's go to the career search tool. So we're going to go here to careers. Depending on my grade, I'll see different assessments that I can take for free. Interest profiler is going to have, ooh, I forgot. I used to have a lot of questions and now it's much less. I think like less than 50. But it will, if we want to see my previous results, you'll see I had top interests, social and artistic, for example, based on completing it. And then there was a list of careers that matched to those interests. If I do multiple and take multiple intelligences, I can rate my abilities and preferences and explore careers based on that. And there's other options. I can use the career search tool. And let's say we're like, I definitely know that I want to be an accountant. Like that. So I'm going to look up accountant. I'm going to look and see which of these sound close to really what I was looking for. And I think it's right here, bookkeeping and accounting. So I'll favorite it. But I'm kind of interested in this tax preparers thing. So I'm going to click both of them. And if I want to, then I can compare them. So now I can pull them up side by side, take a look, check out the money side by side, whether it's a bright outlook, meaning they have openings, or are in demand. And I can favorite one or both or unfavorite the other. So from here, if I don't know yet, I can dig in deeper and I can look at the career summary, which gives me a sense of responsibilities. If there's a video, I can watch it, look at related careers. And this is what's really important, I think, and that I enjoy from the tool is that you have education level. So most students may not necessarily know that they can just get an associate's degree and they assume they need a bachelor's, or they assume they need a bachelor's, but for the specific role they need a master's. So this is where they can find that information. They can get the median salary, but if they're also interested in potentially moving across the country, they can get a better sense of growth by state. And then they'll see things like skills and interests down below. And if after all that, I'm still interested, it'll be in my careers list. And again, my career plan is where I'll find all of my careers. So I can see at any time, what again is the education level? What is the median salary? Is it any bright outlook? And refine my list further and further from there. I already showed experiences in academic planner and my documents. So unless anyone wants to see that again, I think I'm going to keep going. I don't see any questions. So to close on this, earlier we talked about being college ready. So students knowing their options, especially knowing 2-year versus 4-year, or even what they want to end up with, their objective, if that's an associate's degree, a certificate, or a bachelor's or something else. And in this case, we're talking about being career ready, ensuring students are thinking about, what they're into and how that could inform what they want to do after college, so that that can hopefully inform what they will study and which college they will go to. And then tracking everything like their experiences and their academics and resumes all make it easier for them to apply to internships, fellowships, get recommendation letters, things like that. And this is, again, just a snapshot of the career search tool and the information they can see. So last, being financially ready. So being financially ready has an element of not just financial aid planning, like knowing that you can apply for financial aid, knowing what it is, and then getting it, but also financial literacy in terms of, what are my choice points as a student? Like what is the risk of taking a loan versus taking a scholarship? And so really important for students to consider what do expenses look like when they go to college? What do they have to think about and plan for? And then what information are they given so that they can make those informed decisions about which college to go to that will set them up for success. And, with any luck, have the least debt burden. So if we go to get your benefits with Assist Hub, we'll see that at Assist Hub, which is a free website, really encourage students, parents, your community to check it out. 90% of families aren't receiving all available government benefits, including CalFresh. So a really easy tool that you can use or students can use to get a sense of what's available to them. So they can either answer a couple quick questions that will get a sense of maybe what resources they need, like are they unemployed? Or you can go straight to a general list of resources so you get a sense of what it includes. And I'll go ahead and go straight there for you. So unemployment, rent, health insurance, food, utilities, those resources are available here. And then college fit and affordability. So Decided is a free college affordability planning tool. I am privileged to have been a part of the team that supports designing it and helping students, advisors, and their community members to use it. It is free, and students are able to upload a copy of the financial aid award letter once they get it, to get an analysis of, what are the expenses, what's the college bill, what's my life expenses, what aid am I getting, what's free aid like scholarships and grants versus aid I have to pay back or earn, such as work study or loans. If a student is Pell eligible, they will also get this affordability marker, which is like green for affordable, I think orange for somewhat affordable, red for not affordable. But they'll be able to add colleges, compare their options, and make a decision. And if I have any advisors in the room, there is an advisor dashboard. And that advisor dashboard lets you connect with your students. And then you would be able to support your students in tracking if they've received their award letters, if they've uploaded them, et cetera. And you can support them in groups. So let me just quickly sign in so that you can see what it looks like. But I would encourage this, especially if you have high school seniors, to use as a tool once they're starting to wait for financial aid award letters. Because often these award letters are not all, one size fits all. They're not all easy to read. They don't all use the same terms. Over 140 different terms are used to describe loans in award letters across the country. And then some award letters will show the financial aid, but not show the expenses. So a student will see that they got $30,000 in a grant, but not see that it was $70,000 as the total expenses. So it's really important to have that information. at your disposal. So students, even without an account, actually, you can just go to Decided. If you have any questions, you can go to Students Guides. The guides are organized in 5 major categories. What are the costs of college? How do you compare colleges? How do you use and review and find your financial aid award letters? How do you pay for college and loans? There are great guides in here, such as what you need to know about verification if a student gets that request, or for a lot of students and families, they wanted to investigate writing an appeal. And so we have, insights for that. So that's just one way of using this just to get started, is helping your students and your families to understand what really are the expenses. So for a student, they may not really understand what personal expenses are, and colleges are going to give an estimate, but a student's expenses may be more than that. So, everything from cell phone, computer, laundry, if a student has their own expenses like medication or special supplies that they use, all of that is part of their personal expenses. So this is one way where, really understanding each of your different expenses can help you better budget, because you may want to budget for more than what you're seeing in your college's financial aid award letter. But that's one way that students and families can use Decided. Is one, use it for basic answering of your questions. And then 2, when you do get the award letters, you can start to upload them and then analyze them. And you'll see that here. Also, similar to how California colleges uplifts specific fit factor information, like graduation rate, so does Decided. And it's a way to help students, because this is about that critical choice point milestone, right? Of, okay, I applied to the FAFSA and California Dream Act, yay. I applied to my colleges, yay. I'm getting my award letters. Oh my goodness, now I need to read them. Now I need to compare them. They don't look the same. And also I'm just looking at the numbers, but there's other factors to those colleges that maybe students thought about when they were building their list, but stopped thinking about later, like graduation rate, or even earnings, or diversity, or distance from home if they're commuting. So it's really important at this point too, which might not be till January, February, March, April, May, hopefully not May, because decisions need to be made by May 1. But it's good to check again, what were the factors about that college before they make a choice? Because if their college bill is really large, and they'll have to take out a lot of loans, and that's acceptable to you, but they have a really low graduation rate, that really low graduation rate might be the factor that helps you determine as a family, is it really acceptable for this college? Versus you might want to take out those loans and work study for a college with a higher graduation rate and earnings. So those are a couple examples of how you can use Decided. So to close on this, we talked about being financially ready. So we can do that by ensuring our students understand that their basic needs are something they have to ensure are covered and that they meet while they're in college. And taking advantage of all possible resources. Colleges are doing a better job of adding all of this to students' checklists, but it's often hard to really, sift through all that stuff. So Assist Hub is a good, just easy, answer some quick questions or just go straight to a checklist. And then Decided is a way for students to not just think about college fit, but also affordability. We often think of match, reach, safety. Is this something easy for the student to get into, really difficult, but is still in their wheelhouse and is aspirational? But then there's also affordable. We want to make sure students and families are thinking about affordability when we have $1.7 trillion of student debt. And when so too significant of that population are students that actually don't complete with a degree. So to close this out, we covered resources that you have already, thanks to your partners there at Eastside Unified, who already have a great portal for you to use. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. Second, we talked about being college ready, that as your students are applying to college, or if they're still building their list and figuring out where to apply, they're really thinking about the fit for them. not just, what's being recommended to them or what's familiar, but really what's a fit. And that might mean exploring colleges they don't know about or haven't heard of before, or are not in an area they were considering going to. Be career ready includes thinking about your college journey while also thinking about your career journey. So taking assessments, watching career videos, informational interviews when you have the network or those programs who can help connect you. Our coalition, the Northern California College Promise Coalition, as I shared earlier, is a coalition of over 30 organizations. Here in Santa Clara County, we have San Jose Aspires, we have Peninsula College Fund, we have Students Rising Above. We have a lot of great programs who are available to help your students to get college ready, career ready, and financially ready. But being career ready also means making a plan. So the plan that ideally includes, what is the student interested in? How does that align with major program interest? And then how does that help them refine their college list? Because not every college offers every major. And then lastly, being financially ready. So knowing what the costs are for the pathway your student seeks, and that, whether it's 2-year or 4-year, 2-year straight, or just 2-year transfer as well. Knowing really what the costs are, knowing all the financial aid that your student is eligible for, ensuring your students maximize their financial aid, and then really taking advantage of all the opportunities out there to close whatever the gap is for your family. So with that, I'll pause here and see if there are any questions that I can answer. And I hope any of this information, even one piece of it, was helpful. But if there's any feedback, like there's a question you expected to get answered today, that feedback would be especially helpful. I can see if I can tackle that right now. There will be a link to the recording, and I'm going to ensure that College Nights team has a link to the slides. Of course, thank you for the question. Happy to answer any questions about college apps, college list building, financial aid applications, scholarship applications, exploring careers. One thing I will share with you all now is that, again, all of this information, so this really recaps everything from the beginning for those who joined a little bit late. So being college, career, and financially ready, we recommend these 7 steps of success, and you can find all of these links that I've shared and discussed with you on this one webpage, which is norcalpromisecoalition.org/students. So these are the various things that we talked about, all grouped into college, career, and financial readiness. Happy to explore any of these again for anyone who missed it, or answer any questions. Has anyone here actually seen California colleges with a sign of emotions or used it? Nope, okay. Well, folks, we've neared the end of my formal structured presentation. So now is just open forum, open Q&A. If you don't have a question, you're welcome to take a break, go take a look at the agenda and make sure you take advantage of any additional workshops you might have missed today, or check out and start to build a list of the videos you want to make sure you get. And I'll follow up with the team to make sure these recordings and slides are available to you too. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I'll stay on for a little longer to see if anyone has questions. Thank you. If folks are just joining and want me to do a quick recap, I can do that too with our few remaining minutes. But if you are just joining, we were covering college, career, and financial readiness through this idea of 7 steps. And this idea of the 7 steps for success can be found at this link. I'll put in the chat right now. So those 7 steps really fall into 3 buckets that I shared. And so just covering them really quickly. Being college ready has 3 steps that we encourage. One is that as a student, or if you're working with your student, do some goal setting first. Sometimes students start with a college, like just go San Jose State and then kind of work their way from there. But kind of starting first with, what are your goals? Because it could turn out that could lead to a different set of college interests. Also using kind of backwards searching, looking for what you want to study first before you look for the college you want to go to. Often students sometimes build a list or want to apply to a college because they're familiar with it, someone they know is going there, but it might not actually have the program you want to study. And so it's important to know if the college if number one, what you want to study, and if that's aligned with your interests, and then whether the college offers it or not. So the major search tool of California colleges can help you do that. And californiacolleges.edu is this link, which I just put in the chat. It's free. Students can create an account as early as middle school, and it stays with you all the way through college. You can access basic needs resources and then learn more about the college experience too. For career readiness, we encourage you to explore careers. There's lots of cool video resources out there like Gladio and Road Trip Nation. I also encourage you to make a plan and consider following it. And sometimes the question is, where do I put my plan? And so that plan can be californiacolleges.edu too. So there's a lot of things you can do here without an account, but when you do have an account, you end up with this handy dandy My Plan, and then you're able to do things like track the careers that you favorited, track the colleges you favorited, but also right now, which is super important because if you're a high school senior, you're probably starting to apply to college, is college applications. And you'll see that depending on the college, I already have a link of where to apply. So those are some things I would encourage as you're, getting ready to be college and career ready, that you really have a sense of the different careers you're interested in too. What kind of degrees and education levels they need. Some may need an associate's degree, some may need a bachelor's. So California colleges can be a great free resource for that. And then the other one that I would recommend is Decided, and Decided is also free. Lots you can do also without an account. For example, if you're just, your parent or guardian asks you, what are the different type of loans again? This might be a good place to go directly. So you can either look for loans or you can just start to type loans, and you'll see the different resources that have to do with loans. Find out how to get your loans on time, how much is too much in loans. There's even an ultimate guide to loans. So some of you may not know that there are multiple types of loans. And there might have been other sessions you've had a chance to attend today that gave more information. But if you're looking for one place to answer these questions, Decided is a really good place to go. And so I will put that link in the chat. And then when you have an account, you can actually upload your award letters once they start coming in. So the sequence is you apply to the FAFSA or the California Dream Act, maybe also the CSS profile. Woohoo! You submit your college applications, get those in on time. Woohoo! Cal State and UC are due November 30. Other institutions like Stanford, Santa Clara may be on other dates. And then your next step is to wait for your acceptance letter, and your acceptance letter comes with a financial aid award letter. And often those financial aid award letters don't have all the information you need. Sometimes they look very different, so it's hard to compare. So Decided is a great tool you can use to do just that. Upload your award letters, whether it's a picture or PDF. It'll give you a sense of like, here's the financial aid you're getting, what parts are free, because that's really important, right? Like how much are you getting that's a grant or scholarship, you do not have to pay it back, versus money that you have to earn like work or work study, or pay back like loans. And not every loan is created equal. Some have much better repayment plans, some have much higher interest rates. So Decided is a good resource for you to both explore more about this concept of financial aid and college bills, and then also understand your award letters once they start coming in. And so that's also what took us into being financially ready. So using Decided, and then also thinking about your basic needs. If I go back to Decided, so when I think of talk basic needs, a big part of that is personal expenses, housing and meals. So housing and meals, if you're living on campus, could be like the dorm. Maybe there's dining halls. I already forgot what they're called. But if you're living off campus, you may have to cover those expenses yourself. You may have to, find an apartment. I know I mentor students who, there's 4 of them to an apartment, and, one works 3 jobs at the same time. So there's a lot to consider about making sure you're going somewhere affordable so you can really afford it, and have all of your basic needs met, like housing and meals, and other expenses, right? So, and then the other expenses that have to do with college that we know about are tuition and fees, textbooks and supplies, transportation, also potentially insurance, things like that. Lastly, there are other guides here that talk about things like fit. And maybe when you build your college list, you're thinking of a good fit for you is because it has your major, because they have a club that you're interested in. For example, if you want to be a female engineer, you might want to make sure you're going to a college that actually has an engineer, a program or a club for that. I know at San Jose State, a small group created the Finance and Economic Women's Club. So, having those networks and spaces for you to feel supported and to network might be really important to you. So that's diversity at college, right? Like, do you feel seen? Do you feel like you belong? There's no right or wrong answer, as this very clearly states. And there's a lot of ways to measure it. The colleges do have a diversity kind of ranking or rating or percentage for you to get a better sense of it. But just wanted to highlight this because, that might be a little bit more research than you were thinking of doing, but it is important. And that's why maybe you've been encouraged to check out Facebook and, connect with an alum there or a student there or something like that to get a sense of, what is the culture and what is the sense of belonging. So those were the big 3 tips that I shared. So closing out again, we talked about being college ready, being career ready, and being financially ready. And you may already have access to this, but lastly, we also discussed resources that you have already. And that includes these resources I have on the slide, and I'll put that last link in the chat. So I highly encourage you, if you're not already signed up for a Cash for College workshop, to sign up for one. They're scheduled now through February, and will help you with filling out the FAFSA or the California Dream Act, answering other financial aid questions that you have, getting set up for success, and then there's other resources here. So I'll stop there and see if there are any questions. I am not sure where the recordings will be housed. I'm pretty sure Eastside Union High School District will send a communication to some effect of where you can access any recordings or slides. So I apologize, I can't answer that question, but ours will be ready. And I believe I will have access to be able to send this to you directly. So if it's not from Eastside, I will try to find a way to send it to you directly. You're welcome. And if for any reason you just want to make sure I don't forget, please, if you go to our website, the Northern California College Promise Coalition. So just here's the homepage in case you don't know who we are. But right at the bottom, there's a contact us form. And if you want to just sign up for our listserv and get more tips and tricks like this from me and our organization, please sign up. All right, folks, I think with that, I'll close us out. Thank you so much for joining us today. The recording will likely also be on our YouTube channel for the Northern California College Promise Coalition. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll stay on for another minute or two for anyone who has additional questions. Thanks for your time today. Okay, there's a question about financial aid. It's kind of a broad question. So what I'm going to do to answer your question is to talk about where you can find information, because it is quite a big topic, but it is a good question. So in terms of financial aid as a California student, you at any time you can go to California colleges, go to financial aid. And one great resource I might encourage you to check out first is here, financial aid checklist. And I'll go ahead and put that right in the chat. So if you go to financial aid checklist, it already has this information on how to apply, learn about the different kinds, talk to your family. Here are the deadlines. So you may qualify for the free application for federal student aid application or the California DREAM Act application. If you're a former foster youth, you may also qualify for the Chafee grant by submitting your application by March 2nd. You may qualify for the Cal grant. And then also, if you're applying to a California community college, you could apply for the California College Promise grant. And then there's just a slew of different scholarships available. And then if you're applying to some institutions that are private, for example, like Santa Clara, I believe, and Stanford universities, will ask for the CSS profile, which is a different form from the FAFSA. So that's a different one, and you'd need to complete both. In terms of being able to figure out what might college cost for you before you even have your financial aid award letters, there's what's called a net price calculator. So if you go here to the net price calculator, you'll see that this is trying to get a sense of what you might have to pay out of your total cost of attendance. And to get your net price calculator, you'll actually need to look for the one for the college you want to look at. So if, for example, let's go here to net price calculators for colleges in California. Let's say you want to look at for UC. Let's say you want to look at for UC Berkeley. So here's the net financial aid net price calculator. You'll need to determine if you're a dependent or an independent. For the purpose of this, I'm going to go to a dependent, less than 24 years old, and then you would need to complete this information. So there is a formula and there's like ways to calculate, but there's quite a few factors to get to that. So you would just need to complete this, a net price calculator for the college you're looking at. So I hope that's helpful for the person who asked that question. So there isn't like a easy to use formula to calculate like what you might have to pay, because it's based on all of these different factors. So using a net price calculator would be your best bet. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close us out. It's 6:31. This workshop ends at 6:30. It was recorded, so if you're just joining us, the recordings will be made available. Thank you so much for your time. And you can find all of the information that I shared today at this specific webpage, which I'll put in the chat right now before you all jump off. So here it is. Everything I've shared today is on this webpage. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little bit more about how to be college, career, and financially ready for your life. Have a good one.